was supposed to keep us safe. Tonight, we whisper this story. Welcome back to the fire. Tonight's story was sent to us by someone who grew up in a small town of Mound, Illinois. They asked that we share it exactly as they wrote it. It begins like this. The house near the tracks. This happened to me in the small town of Mounds, Illinois. It was 1986, back when the Illinois Central tracks still ran past the river bridge. There was a small town down south where everyone knew everyone. It was the kind of place where you heard the same church bell every morning and the same train whistle at night. Life simple, quiet, predictable. Right past the bridge and close to the old train tracks stood a 2-story house. White paint, half peeled, roof rusting at the edges. People said it was cheap to rent. Nobody stayed long. For a while, it was empty. The grass grew tall. Kids walking home from school crossed to the other side of the road when they passed it. They said the lights came on by themselves sometimes, even when no one lived there. One summer, a man named Leo moved in. He worked at the local factory that made machine parts. Quiet man, kept to himself. Every morning, he walked the same route to work, with a metal lunchbox and a faded blue cap. The first few weeks went fine. Neighbors saw him mowing the yard, fixing windows, even painting the front door. He looked like he was settling down. But soon, people noticed he looked different, tired, pale. At the factory, his coworkers said he sometimes stared at nothing for minutes. When they asked if he was okay, he just nodded. He said the house was noisy at night, not with people, but with footsteps, slow and heavy ones that started at the bottom of the stairs and stopped just before his bedroom door. They told him maybe it was rats or pipes. He said it wasn't. He said he could feel weight on the floorboards. One night he heard crying upstairs. Soft, almost like someone trying to hold it in. He went up, thinking maybe someone had broken in. The door to the spare room was half open. Inside, nothing but old wallpaper and an open window. He closed it and left. After that, he started sleeping at a friend's place across town. When he went back, a few days later to grab his things, the front door was open. Inside, every chair, table, and box was stacked neatly in the kitchen. Not thrown around, not broken, just piled up like someone was clearing space. He packed his bag, locked the door, and left town before sunrise. The house stayed empty again for months, until a family moved in. A husband, wife, 2 kids. They came from another province, said they wanted a quiet life. They painted the walls, put curtains, even fixed the garden. For a while, everything seemed fine. They lived there for about 2 months. The neighbors thought maybe whatever was in that house was gone. The first sign came from the kids. The youngest, he told his mother that someone kept knocking on his window at night. She told him it was just the train wind, but she checked anyway. There were small handprints on the glass. A few nights later, the father heard something drop in the kitchen. When he went down, he found a chair pulled out and the refrigerator refrigerator door open. He blamed the kids, but they were asleep. Weeks passed, and more things started happening. Footsteps at midnight. The sound of the back door creaking, even though it was locked. The smell of smoke in the hallway with no fire anywhere. The mother said she saw someone standing near the top of the stairs one night, tall, still, just watching. When she blinked, it was gone. She didn't tell her husband at first. Then one morning, they woke up to find the front door wide open and muddy footprints leading from the porch to the stairs. The husband checked outside, but there were no footprints beyond the porch, like whoever made them had appeared and vanished right there. After that night, he tried to ignore it. He said they couldn't just keep moving. They had already paid rent and spent money fixing the place. But things got worse. The youngest boy started talking to someone in his room. When his mother asked who it was, he said it was a woman who sat on the floor and asked where her children were. The mother prayed every night after that. She stopped letting the kids sleep alone. One evening, the husband came home late from the factory. When he reached the front door, he saw the living room light flickering through the window. He saw someone sitting in his chair, facing the wall. He thought it was his wife. Until he walked in and found the chair empty. He called out, but nobody answered. Upstairs, his wife was with the kids. They had not moved from the bedroom all evening. 2 days later, the family went to stay with relatives. They came back once, only to pack. When they opened the front door, the air smelled burnt. The furniture they had moved in was all pushed to one side again, stacked in the same way Leo's had been. They left before sunset and never came back, leaving a note to the landlord explaining everything. For a long time, no one lived there. The landlord could not find tenants. I worked late shifts, and sometimes on my way home, I saw the upstairs light flicker. Sometimes it was steady. Sometimes it blinked, like someone walking back and forth in front of it. One winter evening, the landlord asked me to help him check the pipes. It was freezing outside. We went in before dark. The house was colder inside than out. It smelled like wet wood. We walked through with flashlights. Most of the furniture was gone, but there were still a few chairs stacked in the corner. Upstairs, the wallpaper peeled, and the floor bowed in the middle. One window was stuck half open. I touched the sill. The wood felt warm. That did not make sense. In a house that cold. On the way down, we heard a step above us. Slow, one board at a time. Then silence. We stood still for a moment. Then the landlord said we should go. We left the lights on and locked the door. Outside, the air felt lighter. I remember that part clearly. After that, I stopped walking that road after dark. The trains still passed, and sometimes their light caught the windows. When it did, I thought I saw someone standing behind the curtain. In spring, a trucker rented the place. He parked his rig by the porch. He stayed 1 week and left. He said he heard crying upstairs, but would not go check. He did not even ask for his deposit back. A young couple moved in next. They said they heard knocking under the floor, like like someone was moving around below them. They stayed 4 nights. I saw them load their car before the sun came up. The woman looked pale. The man kept looking over his shoulder. By summer, the paint peeled again. Weeds grew up past the steps. One night, it rained hard. I had to walk home, and the storm forced me to stand under that porch for cover. I could hear the drain far off, and the rain hitting the roof. Then I heard steps inside, slow, steady, like someone walking toward the front door. The floor creaked one board at a time until it stopped right behind the door. I moved off the porch and waited. Nothing happened. The door did not open, but I knew someone was standing there. I could feel it through the wood. The landlord tried to fix it again that fall. He put in new locks and painted the porch. A week later, the front door was open, and the paint on the handle was rubbed off, like someone had been turning it from inside. One day I saw a man in a brown coat standing at the porch. He had a tool bag, looked like a worker or a new renter. I saw him again the next morning, sitting on the steps with his head down. The truck was gone by sunset. No one saw him leave. After that, nobody stayed longer than a few days. Travelers, drifters, workers. It did not matter. Everyone left. Sometimes teens dared each other to go inside. They always came out quiet. One boy said he heard someone breathing near his ear when he was upstairs. They never went back. The years went on. The house kept standing. The roof sagged more each winter. The porch leaned. The yard grew wild. The upstairs curtains stayed open. Sometimes the light still came on. The train whistles still passed through town. And every time it did, you could hear the boards creak inside the house. The sound started in the back room, moved to the stairs, and stopped at the top step. Always the same order, always the same pace. People said it was the wind, or that the foundation shifted when the trains passed. Maybe they were right, but I knew the sound of footsteps. I had heard enough of them in my own house to tell the difference. The steps make a different kind of pause, like the person knows where they are going to stop. The house is still standing by the tracks. The porch leans lower every year. The paint is gone. The roof leaks. Locals say at night you can see the upstairs curtain move, like someone is looking out. If you walk close enough to the tracks, you can hear footsteps on the wooden floor, slow and careful, stopping just before the door. No one stays there long. On the house, near the tracks.
Thanks for keeping me company tonight. The story sounds better, whispered by the fire, don't they? Until we meet again. This is
Whispers of the Scribe.
If you enjoyed tonight's story and would like to keep the fire burning, please support me by buying me a coffee. Every cup fuels me to keep whispering here by the fire. If you have a story of your own, something you've never told, something that still follows you at night, send it to me at whispersofthescribe@gmail.com. Maybe one day
we'll whisper it here by the fire.